Everyone, happy Monday. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. It's a story we've been talking about all day. It's been at the top of our charts. The Auburn man arrested in connection with an Alaska cold case, the DNA behind that arrest.
And a Maine woman was one of the leading scientists behind the Mars rover Opportunity. I got to talk to her about what she learned and experienced and what the future holds for Mars exploration. This is News Center Now.
Police arrest a man living in Auburn in connection to a 26-year-old cold case, a sexual assault and murder that happened on the opposite side of the country. Good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. 44-year-old Stephen Downs was arrested after a multi-agency investigation involving police in Maine and Alaska.
That's where the body of 20-year-old Sophie Sergi was found in a dorm bathroom on the campus of the University of Alaska Fairbanks back in April of 1993. Suspect DNA was taken from the scene and uploaded into the FBI's combined DNA index system, but there was no known match for the DNA profile until now.
Now that DNA testing at the center of this case is the same technology that was used to arrest the Golden State Killer after 40 years. As home DNA test kits become more and more popular, major discoveries are unfolding, but some ask, at what cost?
This arrest is the culmination of years of effort and tenacious attention by this department to solve a horrendous murder.
An arrest in an Alaska cold case thanks to new DNA technology.
You find a good match, it's like, we might be able to solve this case.
Parabon Nanolabs out of Virginia has pioneered what it calls snapshot genetic genealogy.
All of that has really come together into a perfect storm that's made this technology now possible.
Before, DNA testing only matched close relatives. Parabon uploads DNA to a public database to find relatives as distant as third cousins. The company's genealogist then rebuilds a family tree using public data, generating new leads for police. It's the same lab authorities in Alaska contacted for help about the unsolved sexual assault and murder of Sophie Sergi. Using suspect DNA taken from the scene, the lab identified an aunt of the suspect, and she only had one possible second-degree relationship with a male relative, her nephew, Stephen Downs. Police had to close the loop by getting a DNA swab from Downs. This combination of DNA testing and genealogy has helped police find suspects in dozens of decades-old cases, including the Golden State Killer. 1 month after the arrest in that case, a blog post from the ACLU questioned whether the new technology jeopardizes human rights. Blockbuster investigations, as gratifying as they are, shouldn't obscure the very real dangers of government access to sensitive information, wrote Vera Eidelman, an ACLU staff attorney. Meanwhile, authorities in Alaska are praising the lab's work.
Justice for Sophie is finally within reach.
And I spoke to several of Downs' neighbors in Auburn earlier today. All declined our request for an on-camera interview, but most said they didn't really know him and his arrest hits too close to home.
Downs is at the Androscoggin County Jail. He is due to be in court tomorrow.
Also, he most recently worked as a nurse in the Auburn area. According to these court documents, we're also learning tonight that Downs was issued a warning in 2016 from Maine's Board of Nursing following reported complaints from co-workers of statements he made that made them feel uncomfortable. He was ordered to complete a course in professional boundaries.
All right, switching gears, we're going to head outside to a guy who's standing inside who's going to tell us about the outside, so I guess that kind of counts. But Casey, I mean, today it was,
meh.
Just it kept changing on me. It was like, it's fine, it's not, it's fine, it's not. Pick one.
It's still pretty heavy at times, but it didn't seem to get too slick out there, so there was that. But yeah, still just one batch of snow left over York and southern Cumberland County. That is the heaviest band left in the state towards Biddeford and down into Wells right now. We've had some good snowfall rates. We haven't really been accumulating that efficiently on the ground along the coastline, or on the roadways, I should say. So that's been good news for travel. A couple of snow showers here over down East Maine as well. Those are exiting and the system winds down. It's cold though right now. It's 22 in Portland, 19 in Wiscasset, 19 in Millinocket, 18 in Bangor. A story overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning is going to be the winds here. Only gusting to 26 in Portland right now. Most of us, though, in the teens for consistent winds. And we do have a wind chill advisory in effect for northern Maine mountains into central and northern parts of New Hampshire. And that's just going to be these dangerously cold wind chills overnight tonight through around 9 or 10 tomorrow morning. So by the time we get to 2 in the morning, the wind chill will feel like 20 below in Rangeley, 23 below in Caribou, and it will feel like around 0 along the coastline. That continues through tomorrow morning. So guys, very cold tonight. Another system coming our way later in the week, and yeah, it'll be a rain, snow, sleet mixture. That's the thing we've been doing all year long.
I'm going to tell you something.
Documents obtained by the Portland Press-Herald show that former Governor Paul LePage and his staff spent at least $22,000 in public money at a hotel owned by the family of President Donald Trump. The reports say they paid for more than 40 rooms at Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. over a 2-year period. The paper says documents it recently obtained show the administration paid from $362 to more than $1,100 a night for rooms at the luxury hotel when in D.C. to meet with Trump or conduct other business. We will have the governor's response coming up at 6 o'clock.
The grieving continues in Aurora, Illinois, where a gunman took the lives of 5 people at a manufacturing plant before being killed by police. This happened on Friday. An organization called Indivisible Aurora held a vigil today at the Water Street Mall, bringing together community leaders and residents to remember the victims. Police say all were employees of the Henry Pratt Company, and they were shot by the recently fired Gary Martin.
The organizers of Pope Francis's Summit on Preventing Clergy Sex Abuse will meet this week with a dozen abuse victims. They will meet Wednesday with the 4-member organizing committee to convey their complaints. The larger summit of some 190 presidents of bishops' conferences from around the world, plus key Vatican officials, begins on Thursday. High school basketball teams will continue to go head-to-head in pursuit of a gold ball at the end of the season. The tournament is a treasured Maine tradition that dates back decades. The players have the opportunity to play on the big stage, and while students have the week off of school, it gives them an opportunity to get out and support their friends. Sometimes it feels like the whole community makes the trip to see a game.
Of course, some of the players showing their stuff on the court this week will then go on to play college basketball. Police Rosignol is one of those players. The former Van Buren Crusader is now playing for the University of Maine and says that the players will carry the memories made in this tournament with them for the rest of their lives.
The high school tournament's awesome. You know, high schoolers look forward to it every year, and I know growing up as a little kid, my dad coached at the tournament, so it was always, you felt like you were playing at the Madison Square Garden when you go to the Bangor Auditorium. The same's at the Cross Center, so I'm excited to go to some games myself this year, and it's just a great atmosphere.
And of course, stay tuned to the News Center throughout the week for tournament coverage from Portland, Augusta, as well as Bangor. All right, coming up, we'll check out a President's Day snow sculpture that you won't want to miss.
Also ahead.
There really isn't anything I've done that has been more intense and more terrifying and more wonderful, and I'd do it again in a hot minute.
How one Maine woman had a very close connection to the Mars rover Opportunity. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
Oh, Sally, sorry to hear that.
It was very much like a snow globe out there today. Like someone was shaking the snow globe, you know?
Yeah,
the snow wasn't really
Sally's
sticking.
Comment?
Oh, let me, no, not yet.
It's pinned, you should see it there.
Oh, Sally, that is unreal. Sally says she lives 8 miles, or lived 8 miles from where this happened in Fairbanks, Alaska. She moved back to Maine in June of 1993. The news and chatter then was insane, so sad. Yeah, Sally, I was actually going through some of that old footage today from 1993 from the campus and where the crime tape was up on that bathroom dorm door, and it's just really eerie. Really eerie. But yeah, really interesting stuff. I mean, our sister station in the DC area, they went inside that lab not long ago, and so that's why we were able to access that information about that new state-of-the-art genetic testing that involves genealogy. Yeah, Sheila says sad for his parents and of course for her parents. That's something a lot of neighbors said today too, is they feel bad for his family. Deborah says you can't hide from technology. That's really the center of this debate here. Even though he didn't submit his DNA to that public database, his aunt did, and that's how they were able to track him down. So have you done a DNA kit? I haven't done one, but maybe a relative of ours has, and we'll be able to link some way by something, you know, through that, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah, Karen did it for the holidays, and then one of our sons also got in on it too. So 2 of us have done it so far.
Yeah. Ken's checking in on the local news while hiding out in Florida for the winter.
Oh, come on. Come on, Ken. Take us with you.
Hey, Amanda.
The ecstatic sailor shown kissing a woman in Times Square celebrating the end of World War II has died. George Mendonza was 95 years old. His daughter, Sharon Moeller, says that Mendonza had a seizure and at the assisted living facility in Rhode Island where he's been living with his wife of 70 years. Mendonza was shown kissing Greta Zimmer Friedman, a dental assistant in a nurse's uniform on August 14th, my birthday, 1945, not my birthday, that's VJ Day. It became one of the most famous photographs of the 20th century.
That photo is iconic. So cool. All right, it's President's Day, and for many in Maine, it's a day to start school vacation or maybe just a day off from work. But for some people in the Rumford area, it means time to make some art. Honest Abe is carved into snow. Well done, guys. That looks pretty good.
Seriously.
From the National Monument, that looks awesome. I wonder if it's full size. I mean, next to the trees, that looks pretty big, doesn't it?
That's pretty impressive.
Huge shout out to Jen Fuller for sending this photo to us.
So a guard gator becomes the brains behind a drug operation in Pennsylvania. It all started with a raid at this home in Chester County earlier this month. Police arrested 3 men after finding heroin and other drugs inside the home. What they didn't expect to find was this 3-foot-long alligator protecting the goods. Police seized the gator and nicknamed him El Chompo, get it? In honor of last week's conviction of Mexican drug lord El Chapo. Maybe he'll have a Netflix series as well.
What a surprise.
Later on the show, we will see how drugs are being hidden, but in plain sight.
The warning signs I'm sure parents can look for. And we're going to see the warning signs from the Weather Center. Okay, okay. I love it. El Chompo.
Was he the guy who...
It's your turn to shine.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I watched the Ted Bundy tapes, did not realize that he escaped twice. Once by jumping out of a window in court, and second by losing enough weight that he could shimmy through a ceiling tile in his jail cell.
Why were the ceiling tiles in a jail cell? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Have you seen Narcos?
No.
It's good. But obviously it's about Pablo Escobar, and it shows how he was so influential that he literally built his own jail. So they're like, we got you, we're bringing you to jail. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And they're like, well, what can we do to get you in jail? He's like, what if I build my own jail? And so he built this giant...
That's something you would say.
Yeah, exactly. He built this giant jail and like hung out in there.
Yeah.
And that, but he couldn't leave, but that it was not jail in the traditional sense of the word. It's amazing that he had that much influence and scared that many people.
Right?
You know?
That is interesting.
It's a great series if you get a chance.
Oh, Amanda, that's such a bummer. Her antenna hasn't let her get Channel 6 the last 3 days, but now it's working.
Leave it and hold it in the right spot.
That is true.
Sarah says,
customer service.
Guarantee within the next 20 years you'll have to give your DNA to the government.
Yeah, there's this whole 23andMe and
right.
all these. I'm not one of them, but I have seen that there is a somewhat of an internet movement that they don't totally trust what this is all about. And they think that there's some type of government conspiracy to collect everybody's DNA.
Or like, are we jeopardizing our privacy? You know, that's the concern of the ACLU. Are we giving up our human rights?
What's up, Rose?
Amanda thinks that snow sculpture was amazing. I agree.
What's up, Amanda? I know, wasn't that cool?
Anne was Miss Maine in 1990, and she's watching from Florida.
Yes. That's a real Maine look you got there. Okay. Subtle hunter green. I can do that.
It's a choreography dance.
So yeah, it's just interesting. What took me a long time to understand today was how they found him through the aunt. That took me a long time to wrap my brain around, and I still can't really explain it that well, but there was something in the genetics that pointed to his maternal side. And then they had to do a process of elimination from there. Police also had to get a DNA swab from him. Well, the world mourned the death of Opportunity, the Mars rover, last week. NASA stopped its attempts to contact it February 13th, and they lost contact with the rover in June following a severe dust storm.
Now, a Mainer was one of the principal investigators on that mission. Cameron O'Brien got to meet her and tells us more about it.
Yeah, no, really cool. Dr. Yingst just got back from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is in Pasadena, California, last week. We got the chance to talk about Opportunity, who she spent so much time with, the future of Mars rovers, and how Maine also made its way to Mars, too. Take a listen.
I have the best job in the whole world, and there is no day where I am working on one of the rovers that I don't realize that.
Dr. Eileen Yingst lives in Brunswick, Maine, and works on Mars. No, really. She's a senior scientist with the Planetary Science Institute and partners with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory on the Mars rovers.
Opportunity really made me professionally. I went from sort of a second string participating scientist back in 2005 to being the associate principal investigator.
Opportunity, known as OPI for short, was deployed to Mars with Spirit, her twin rover, in 2004. A geologist by trade, Dr. Yingst worked 24/7 with fellow scientists and engineers, analyzing the data OPI sent back from Mars and planning her next move.
Follow the water. That was the shorthand for their missions. To determine in 2 places on Mars whether there might have at one point been water, water being a key ingredient, we believe, for life.
A global dust storm in June marked the beginning of the end for OPI. The rover used solar power to survive, and the dust storm made conditions unbearable. On Wednesday, February 13th, NASA stopped its attempts to contact the rover, ending her mission. Dr. Yingst calls OPI an overachiever for far surpassing her original 90 Martian Day mission.
After 14 and a half years, we're not thrilled about it, but we ran her into the ground. You know, she did everything we asked her to do and more, and it took the worst dust storm we have ever seen on Mars to finally kill her.
But there's more exploration to do. So that's where Curiosity, the current rover, and 2020, the future rover, come in.
Curiosity is designed to explore the idea of habitability. We're hoping that 2020 will be the next step, and the follow-on mission will be actually bringing samples back, chosen samples back from Mars.
So, y'all, this is my favorite part of the conversation we had. Dr. Yingst, being a Mainer, wanted to get a little bit of a Maine flex on Mars. So what she and her team did was take a section of where Curiosity roams in Mars and name everything in that section after something in Maine. How cool is that?
That is so cool.
Yeah, man, that's
Very
awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. We are out of this world, literally.
I just noticed that Chip's desk has a name tag that says Girl Boss. I never noticed that before.
Because she is. Flex.
I never saw that until the camera.
And now we have our own aliens even for you now on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Pete's here,
it's a little of everything.
Come on.
I think we need, I like that we're getting kind of back into space travel exploration because we kind of dropped it for a little while. We need something to compete with. That's what drove it back in the day, right? It was like, oh, no, Russia's not getting up there first. You know, we need like some other country to get into.
We need the competition.
Yeah, we need someone to push us, I think. All right, we had some snow today. It was a minor event, but we did pick up between 1 and 3 inches depending on your location. Still some snow here over coastal York County and coastal Cumberland County as well. These bands of snow are decent. What has been the experience along the coast is that the roads have been generally fine. Even with some of these higher snowfall rates, it's been melting in most spots. There are some reports, though, in the mountains of 4 inches. Kingfield was one of the weather watchers I had, so I buy that. It's really fluffy stuff, and temperatures were cold. Here's the last of the snow showers over down East Maine. All right, winds are going to get gusty here overnight tonight, which not totally atypical, but usually winds settle, as a rule, overnight. But in this case, they'll actually increase overnight, and so they'll be 15 to 20 miles an hour around midnight, and then 25 miles an hour by tomorrow morning, which isn't a huge deal, or wouldn't be a huge deal if it wasn't so cold at the same time. So we have wind chill advisories for northern Maine through the mountains into the mountains of New Hampshire as well. And that just means exactly what it sounds like, which is it's going to be dangerously cold, especially for a few hours late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Those wind chills will be minus 20, minus 25 at times. All right, hour by hour forecast, chilly, windy overnight tonight. So by tomorrow morning, a lot of us sitting around 10. It's going to be below 0 in the mountains. Tomorrow is a bright day, but it is cold through and through, only getting to the 20s along the coast, single digits. Mountains. Wednesday starts with a lot of sunshine. Wednesday afternoon, some clouds move in, and then we do the midweek storm thing that we've been doing as of late. It starts to snow late Wednesday night in through Thursday, changes over to sleet and some rain on the back end along the coastline. Right now, off the top of my head, it's a 3 to 6, 4 to 7 inch event there. Wednesday night through Thursday, could have some cancellations on Thursday morning. And then we'll do that whole thing again, it looks like, for the weekend. So here's our Wednesday night, Thursday storm. And then we'll get another one for the weekend. It too will be an inside runner. It is absolutely amazing, guys, how we've had the same storm basically over and over again. You remember that movie with Bill Murray?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah. This is the put your little hand in mine aspect of it for this winter. I mean, the good news is none of these have been crippling. The bad news is it's kind of annoying that we've been changing over along the coast every single time. And so we'll do it again Thursday. Sunday might be just rain for the coast, depending on how this plays out. So we've had a really strange winter. We've had a good amount of snow, yet we've never had, except for caribou, we have not had these snowbanks that have been, you know, monumental.
Just so icy out there.
I think everything from now on has to also be EFC, except for caribou. It has to just be like EFC for everything.
Aroostook County is living in its own snow world this year. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Well, we have certainly talked a lot about teenagers using e-cigarettes and vaping on this show.
Yeah, drugs are obviously also a problem for kids in that age group, and there are many deceptive ways where the kids can hide them. Check it out.
Hiding drugs is getting easier for teens. All we had to do was go to Amazon and type in hide drugs. It opened up a world where dozens of things are available to help teenagers hide them in plain sight. We bought a few of these secret stash items and we're hiding them all inside a teenage boy's bedroom.
Hi, Tanisha. How's it going? You ready for the scavenger hunt? I'm so excited.
His mom, Tanisha, is convinced nothing will get past her.
I would smell it, see it from a mile away. I have front eyes, side eyes, back eyes, and I'm a high school teacher, so I would know it before they know it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You think you'll find everything right away?
I will, and if I don't, then my kid's gonna pay.
All right, let's go.
All right.
So we're off.
All right.
She has 5 minutes to find as many items as she can. They're all in plain sight.
Okay.
Tanisha gets right to it.
Gotta look everywhere.
But it only takes a few moments for the frustration to kick in.
It cannot be this hard to look for what? Something small. No, something is staring me in my face. Check the pockets, y'all. Check the pockets.
She comes across a lint roller we hid, but she tosses it without thinking twice. She finds a Kleenex box that looks suspicious.
Just chapstick.
Then stops looking.
Elijah know better than to try it.
Finally, it's time to show her what she missed.
The lint roller.
No, I said that's just a lint roller.
But twisting it open reveals a hollow space to hide drugs in. This bottle is filled with water and looks real, but it opens up a secret compartment. That Kleenex box she found pops open another secret box. Even things like chapstick are disguised to look real.
Chapstick?
I looked in there.
But look, it looks like a normal chapstick. You pop this open.
Oh,
and
no.
Take what?
Oh my goodness.
Take it out.
We even hid this gum pack.
It's not a real gum pack.
No, nope, because I would just think it was gum.
And look at this Sharpie. It looks like the real thing. It even writes like one, but twist it open and it's a way to stash drugs.
It's definitely an eye-opener.
Crazy.
You gonna have me stalking my kids for the next 4 years.
Okay, I gotta say the
That's
most concerning part of that story for me is that you can find that stuff on Amazon. Like, why is that stuff
Right.
even readily available to be bought on Amazon in the first place? Sorry, that's just dad.
A lot of parents going to be very busy tonight
Not
after
happy
seeing
with
that.
I'm gonna send a letter to Amazon on that one.
A lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams is here with a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. A denied protection order is at the center of a murder investigation in Penobscot County. And now lawmakers are trying to close a loophole that might better protect other people from similar threats. We've got that story. Snow again today, and one spot in coastal Maine is especially glad to have it, seeing as how they have a lot of vacationers there right now. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
Thanks, Cindy. Stick with us. Raindrops when we come back. So are you going to be so busy later or what? No, your kids are all angels.
No, but seriously, why would that be sold on Amazon? Why would how to hide drugs be something that you can just go ahead
I don't know. It's so sad.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
You're getting a lot of support for that. I agree. I mean,
I don't
it's
have
just
any
crazy.
comments. My Facebook's not working.
Bill says I agree 1,000%. Lee.
I'm not surprised that they're out there. I'm surprised that you can put it into Amazon and then they'll send them to your house. Like, it should
Amanda
be
brings up a
harder
good point.
to get those.
Amanda says, what I don't understand is where are these packages being sent and then whose debit or credit card are they using?
I mean, I don't know, and I haven't obviously looked a lot into it, but what if it's as simple as you bought a pack of Sharpies, so you charge it to mom or dad's credit card, a pack of Sharpies shows up, they're not going to think anything about it,
Right.
they'll think you need it for school and they give it to you.
Keith, Pamela wants to know snow predictions for Thursday.
Like I said, 3 to 6, 4 to 7.
3 to 6, 4 to 7.
3?
Sorry, no deal.
How about 0? How about a dusting to 2?
You're driving me down. Trying to push me down.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to give you options.
I know. I appreciate that.
Dusting to 2. Sounds good.
Keith, you pop in? Yeah, go back. Go down. Yeah, there you go. You can see the light reflecting right on it.
You got it.
You know I do.
I got to use my little vertical enhancement device.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh, is it?
There's
oh, it's
two.
right here. Oh, there's 2. I didn't
Now
see
we
this
have
one.
2 of you over here using enhancement devices.
I don't have heels on today, especially. Sad.
Yes,
Sad.
please.
Oh, I can't wait to write my second web story today.
They call this the prom pose. Well, I actually think you know the new reports we're getting here are by how many, like, what's your web authorship?
True. So it makes more sense, more incentive. There we go. That's one way to look at it.
Yep.
I missed the
One
beginning.
way to look at it. What's that?
I missed the beginning.
Oh. Here's the Earth round.
The Earth is in the middle. All right. Oh, wait, we're not doing my thing yet.
Are we? No, we'll get to you in a
That's
second.
my bad.
First, we're going back one more time. Take a look at that That's So Maine, which we showed you earlier in the show, but it's worth a second look. It's Honest Abe from Jen.
That's pretty good. Okay, so I
Now.
love when we get, now it's my turn. I love when we get viewer questions. I see at 2 p.m. we have a 3/4 moon in the sky. Why is this? This is interesting only because the moon during the day is something that you only seem to notice sometimes, but it's there every day for about 6 hours, depending on the time of the year.
Right.
But there's a couple of factors as to when you would notice it more. And so the times you're not going to see it in the rotation of the moon, the orbit of the moon around the Earth, is when we have what's called a new moon. And the reason for that is really simple. This is where the sun is located. I'm trying to make this like as planar as possible. The sun is right where the moon would be, and so therefore the sun is so bright you can't see the moon. It's there, of course, but you can't see it. The other time you would not see the moon during the day is when there's a full moon. And the reason for that is because you're only seeing a full moon at night. The way that the orbit is around the Earth, that's synced up with our day and night, so you will not see it during the day. The rest of the moon phases, in theory, if it's clear out, you will see the moon. Here's another thing that people seem surprised about. It seems obvious to me that the moon has no light source to it, that all you're seeing is the sun illuminating the moon. I've said this to like people from the ages of 8 to 55, and they're like, I never even thought about that before. So if you get a nice day, you can see the moon most of the time. Just gotta look for it.
There it is.
Unless the Earth's flat, then none of this works.
True. All
Liz?
right. You said it. You said our Maine at 5:30 starts right now. Moons too.
So there's no such thing as dancing under the moonlight because there is no moonlight.
That's well true. Yeah.